What's going on, third grade PES Hawks? Today I'm going to be doing a read aloud, and then I'll have a short activity that you can do after. The read aloud I'm going to do is from the same author of one of the books we read from the beginning of the year, The First Day Jitters. The author is Julie Danneberg. The illustrator is Judy Love. And it's about the different emotions we feel during the end of the school year. Now our year has been a little different this year, but we'll get the point from the book. So it's called The Last Day Blues. And it's a little different. I have a computer here. It's on GetEpic. So I'll try to hold it up so you can see the pictures after I read. So just kind of bear with me as we go through it. All right, The Last Day Blues. On the Monday morning before Friday, that was the last day of school, Mrs. Hartwell took attendance. She sighed as she called out the last name. "I'm going to miss all of you," she said. Now remember, she was the teacher from the beginning of the year, the first day jitters. The kids nodded in agreement. "I'm going to miss my friends," said Shannon. "I'm going to miss Daisy," said Dan. "I'm going to miss chocolate milk and pizza for lunch," said Joe. Everyone felt a little blue thinking about the last day of school. Even Daisy. That afternoon during recess, the students talked as they hung out in the jungle gym. "Mrs. Hartwell said she's going to miss us," said Alexandra, swinging from a bar. "We should get a present to cheer her up," said Eddie, hanging upside down by his knees. "But what could they get her?" "I could give her the rest of my sandwich. It's my mom's bologna special," said Josh. "Or a coffee cup. Or a new pen, the kind with feathers and beads." The students thought and thought, but couldn't come up with one single idea they all agreed on. "We'll think of something tomorrow," Eddie assured everyone as they lined up at the drinking fountain. On the Tuesday before the Friday that was the last day of school, Mrs. Hartwell read the final page of their last read-aloud book. "I'm going to miss circle time," said Mrs. Hartwell. "I'm going to miss science," said Emily. "I'm going to miss seeing Mrs. Hartwell wear her safety goggles during science," said Jack, giggling. And so before they got too sad, Mrs. Hartwell put on her safety goggles one last time, just for fun. "We definitely need to cheer Mrs. Hartwell up," said Andy during recess as he jumped out of a swing. "Any ideas about a present?" Eddie asked. "Nope," they all answered back. On the Wednesday before the Friday that was the last day of school, Mrs. Hartwell brought in her super-duper sugar cookies with extra frosting. "I'm going to miss snack time, but I can't wait for barbecues by the pool," said Jack. "I'm going to miss recess, but I can't wait to play hide and seek outside after dinner," said Alexandra. "I'll miss school, but I can't wait for summer vacation," said Josh. The class discussed their summer plans and drowned their last day blues with another round of milk and sugar cookies. So you see, they're all kind of sad they're going to miss school, but they're also excited about what the summer's going to hold for them. "I don't know whether to be happy or sad today," Andy said the minute they all arrived at the jungle gym. "Mrs. Hartwell is sad," said Olivia. "She probably doesn't want the year to end." "While we're swimming, she'll be reading her old lesson plans," said Walker. "And while we're playing, she'll be trying to remember the fun times we had this year," said Dan. And that's when an idea zipped, zapped, and zinged through Eddie's brain. "I know exactly what will cheer her up," Eddie said, jumping down from the jungle gym. The class agreed. It was perfect. What do you think his idea is? On the Thursday before the Friday that was the last day of school, Eddie raised his hand right after Mrs. Hartwell started language arts. "We need some privacy, please," he said. And so Mrs. Hartwell took down bulletin boards with her back to the class. She never even peeked. Well, only once. On the morning of the Friday that was the last day of school, the students dashed inside the classroom. They snapped open the shades for the very last time. They did their chores for the very last time. They fed Daisy for the very last time. And as soon as the bell rang, they couldn't wait for Mrs. Hartwell to see her present for the very first time. What do you think her present is? The last day of school makes us so blue. We'll miss recess and pizza and reading, too. We'll miss Daisy and cookies and friendship true. Snack time and science and learning new. We'll miss spelling bees for our test review and groundhogs that play peekaboo. The year has been great, a big wahoo. There are many things to miss, it's true. But mostly what we'll miss is you. Later on, during recess, Eddie said, I think Mrs. Hartwell liked her present. I just hope it helps, Margaret said. Poor Mrs. Hartwell, they all said sadly, as they pictured their final goodbye. Teachers must hate the last day of school. Well, look at all the teachers. Look how sad they are. And then it was time. The bell rang. Goodbye, the students called as they rushed out the door. Goodbye, Mrs. Hartwell called after them. And then she returned to her empty classroom. It's just you and me, Daisy, she said. I'm sure going to miss them this summer. But I can't wait for vacation. Oh, look at the teachers now. Do they look sad anymore? Woo. All right. So, in that story, you can obviously see that Mrs. Hartwell, she's sad, and so are the kids about the end of the year, but they're also excited about what's to come. So, for your activity, that I want as many people to do as possible, because if you do these and then your parent emails them to your teacher, we'll put them up on the third grade website with all our other challenges that we've been doing. So what I want you to do is think about the story, think about some of the things they said that they'll miss, and I want you to think about one thing that you're going to miss about our school year, about third grade. Now I know it's been a while because we've been gone out of the actual school, but I want you to think about one thing I'll miss. Okay, and you can just write it on a regular sheet of paper. You don't have to type it out or anything like that. So it says one thing I'll miss is, and I want you to finish that. Okay, and I also want you to tell me why you're going to miss that. So if you're going to miss a certain friend from school, tell me why you're going to miss that friend. Or if you miss a certain subject, tell me why you're going to miss it. What about that subject are you going to miss? And then I want you to draw a picture to go along with that. So that's the first part. So one thing I'll miss is finish it and tell me why you're going to miss it. And then draw me a picture with it. All right. Now the second part is, wait for it. You're then going to tell me one thing you can't wait for. Just like the kids in the story and Mrs. Hartwell, they said one thing they're going to miss, and then they told me one thing they can't wait for. And so same thing as the last page. I want you to write one thing you're going to miss is, one thing that you can't wait for is, and then tell me why you can't wait for that. Okay? Maybe it's something about summer vacation. Maybe it's plans that you have. Maybe it's even about the next year going to fourth grade. Whatever that is, I want you to tell me what it is that you can't wait for and why you can't wait for it. And then, just like the first page, draw a picture to go with it. So you don't have to type it out. You can write it on a piece of paper, but same format. I want you to write it up here, up top, and draw the picture below it. You can do it front to back, doesn't matter. So you should have two things: what I'm gonna miss, what I can't wait for, and have a picture to go with it. All right, so I hope you enjoyed the read aloud. I hope as many of you as possible do the activity, and we'll get that on the school website. And I will see you guys again later.